Good morning. We're back from our trip. Our trip to Kharkov and Izium and Kramatorsk. It was a good trip. Um, we gathered some necessary information, met some good people. It'll hopefully help us to make some good decisions in the future regarding a ministry out that direction. A common theme running through the trip for me was pain, actually. I came down with an infection underneath one of my teeth, and I couldn't get in to see the dentist. I didn't want to put this trip off, so I decided to push through it. Well, it was 3 days of pretty intense pain. God did give strength and grace. It was good. Just difficult. Saw a number of people we wanted to see. Saw some things that were pretty sad, of course. Still, it was a good trip. I'm glad we went. And what you have here is just some of the things that I can show. Can't show everything. There's some things that shouldn't be published still. I hope it entertains and also keeps you in touch and maybe even spurs you to pray. Anyway, enjoy. So we left home early Monday morning and travelled across to Kharkiv up in the northeast. It was a good trip. I held a bottle of frozen water to my jaw for much of that trip, but we arrived there early afternoon. Kharkov is a beautiful place, former capital of Ukraine actually, parks everywhere, lots of history, quite beautiful. The Russians really pressed hard against it early on in the war, and it saw a lot of damage, and they keep on lobbing missiles into it. One of our goals in going to Kharkov was to spend time with this guy, and we were able to do that. It was great encouragement. Another goal was to spend time with Sergei Pavlovich, a pastor there, who's been involved in ministry during the war. A lot of ministry, actually. He's got a real heart for people. It was a privilege spending all day Tuesday with him. He actually told this story of being at home and is praying in this room with a group of men. They stopped and they all separated into other rooms when a missile just flew through the roof and landed right in the middle of this room. Thankfully it didn't explode. Had it done so, then the house would have been totaled. They would have all been killed, but it was quite an event. Another one of our goals in going east was to take Pastor Donnie Coulter with us. A real special guy from Canada. We loved our time with him. Very encouraging. Unfortunately, a young man died in his church, so he needed to go back, and he really wanted to be with the family. We also wanted to look at the destruction out there, see whether that was maybe a place that God would have us invest in the future. We saw a lot of that. And then an extra goal got added on the day before we left, and that was to take humanitarian aid down to soldiers down in the Kramatorsk area. And we were able to do that. Basically, as soon as we arrived, we went off to a cafe and had a bowl of borscht together. It was nice, and then we went off and saw where our friend had been fighting and defending Kharkov during the initial stages of the war. He's like a little boy as he remembered all these different dangerous events and had nearly been killed here and there, and it was very interesting. Then we went off and had a bit of a dip in a Clearwater lake on the edge of town, and then finally went back to church. And we slept on the third floor of the church in some guest rooms there. Night was interesting. Had air raids and a couple of big missiles exploded a couple of kilometers away. Those are major explosions at that distance. And then early next morning we took off in the vans, 2 vans, heading on down to Izium and Kramatorsk to deliver the humanitarian aid. While we were there, we visited a home and met a sniper who's actually also an organizer for a certain group. It was amazing, actually, just listening to a talk. I had no idea that a sniper rifle could cost upwards of $130,000 US, and that's not including the scope. But she shared a lot of details with us. She's very thankful for the humanitarian aid for her boys.
Это поселок тут, видишь, и тут очень много, сейчас посмотришь, вот видишь Святогорский монастырь.
А тут что, ну просто боев или?
Да, это бои были, но тут бои.
Ну а как можно жить здесь сейчас? Ну можно, но...
Можно тогда новые дома строить.
да?
Что практически все.
А это когда-то будет восстанавливаться.
А? Вот там, да, мы доедем. А, дальше можем даже не пускать. Тут моста нету. Сейчас, мы сейчас туда.
А что ты думаешь, будет восстанавливаться? Вот это село.
Не могу сказать, но
Это-
думаю, что нет.
Это столько разрушено. Каждый дом. Я еще не видел дом без разрушения. Фу. Да. И моста нет.
Да, я видел. Можно?
Okay, so we've got this little town behind us. I just asked him whether there's any chance of this town coming alive again. It's a good question. Big battles here apparently, according to Sergei. And oh, what a beautiful river there.
Хорошо, я сегодня вечерком вернусь. Ну хорошо, я сейчас просто еще додаю.
Well, I don't think we're getting across this bridge.
Да, да.
Not that we needed to. We're going to go back the way we came. Didn't know that Sergei's even been out here, been here. There's a lot of destruction here. Речка красивая.
Ну?
Мы недалеко от Славянск, да? Солидор.
Славяногорск.
Славянск.
Славяногорский монастырь.
Ага.
Русские куда уходили? Туда, в ту сторону? Да? Русские уходили в ту сторону и туда? Нет, русские там. Там. Тогда та сторона это наша.
Наша сторона. Русская сторона. Well, this we're not going to attempt to repair. No chance of it actually. There's just over there you can see that there's memory photographs of those who died. This thing here collapsed. Apparently there was a tank up the road there. Just kept on shooting at this until it fell down, and there's a heap of people in the sheltering in the basement here, and they all died under the rubble. Evil. We're surrounded by it, but we often don't recognize it, or we've gotten used to the level of evil that we live amongst. War, however, it forcibly brings home the evil in men's hearts as there's so much loss of life because of one man, or because of a group of men attacking and destroying and wreaking havoc. We did see this very definitely on this trip. We also saw people living under a great stress, not just civilians but also soldiers, as they're on the front lines, readying themselves to go out and do different missions. It's a very interesting stress. It was a good trip. I suspect that we may be making a number more over the next several months. Thank you for your interest, and thank you for your prayers.